Okay, y'all, this is a live situation I've got here. So I came home from work and I always just check my plants. I like to see how they're doing, see if any of them need immediate attention. Unfortunately, I was looking at my beautiful Florida Ghost here. This plant has always just been a really happy plant. It never has any problems, never drops any leaves. And so one of the first red flags I noticed was this guy right here. I was like, okay, what's going on here? I'm not really sure. This seems kind of odd for this plant, weird behavior. So that was kind of my first red flag, maybe to check this guy for more. And then I kind of was looking around and let's see if I can find it here. Here's another one. It's not quite as extreme, but this healthy leaf started to kind of get yellow. And that's when I was like, okay, this is odd. So I get up and close and personal with my plants, and then I started to see sticky sap. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but there's sticky sap on there, and that is a sign of aphids and scale. So it's very easy to get overwhelmed when you think your plants have pests, but I always just try to take a deep breath and remember, like, it happens to everyone. So all we can do is treat, prevent, and try our best to get rid of them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this Florida Ghost, and I have here a spray bottle with warm water and a tablespoon of Dawn dish soap. That's all it has in it, is dish soap and warm water, and I'm gonna go ahead and spray down my plant. I'm also going to wipe off the leaves with just a basic microfiber cloth that I bought from Walmart. That's what I use on my plants, just microfiber cloths. So we're just gonna go in here and spray the plant down with this soap and water, really making sure to get the unders of the leaves, because that is where these little suckers really like to live, is on the bottom of the leaves. Sometimes I do end up using an insecticidal, but I try to take a natural route before using an insecticidal, just because, you know, they're really not that healthy. They're not healthy for natural bugs. They're not healthy for us to breathe in. And we just really, the camera got wet there. It's like we're in the rainforest. But, you know, it's just, if I can take a natural route, that's just going to be the first thing I do. So after I spray them down with that soapy water, I'm just simply going to wipe off the leaves, really making sure to get the unders, because that's where pests live. So you want to make sure to wipe underneath the leaves. I try to like kind of investigate. I look for the little buggers, make sure there's none just like freely crawling around, having a grand old time on my plants. Sometimes I kind of investigate as I'm going. But, you know, I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about this, because I just feel like I live in the Midwest and we are going into winter, where I get home at 5 from work and it's dark, and when I get up in the morning it's pretty darn dark until about 7. So there's just not as much daylight. There's less time for me to really feel like I can care for my plants. I don't like to water my plants when it's dark outside. So really, I don't get much plant stuff done until the weekend. But as we've gotten into the winter, I've definitely noticed more pests or like health issues with my plants. And I really try my best to like take care of my plants and quarantine ones that I feel like might be unhealthy. And I try to use preventatives like neem oil, and I use plant food to keep them happy and all that good stuff. But, you know, sometimes there's pests. Even the best nurseries and the best plant stores, they have pests every once in a while. Even those super big plant influencers with millions of followers, they get pests. And it's just kind of a part of having natural organisms in your house. You're gonna have pests, and sometimes it can be really frustrating, and I've been there to where it's just exhausting to feel like, oh my gosh, here we go again with the pests. But you just gotta do your best, and it's kind of just like tending to your friends. You just gotta take care of them. So now that I went in with the soap and water sprayer and kind of wiped off all the leaves and That'll kind of kill off the bugs, but also, oh, I've missed a little leaf here. But also, another thing I'm gonna go in with now is I'm gonna go in with a natural neem oil. So this one is from my local plant shop that I shop at. It's just 100% cold pressed neem oil. I'm just gonna spray and wipe, apply it on all the leaves. I usually apply this as just a maintenance thing on my plants. I haven't been as good about doing it lately. You do wanna make sure not to put your plants in direct sunlight after putting this on because it does make the leaves a little bit more frail. It does have a little bit of a smell that some people don't like, but once it dries, the smell goes away, and honestly, the smell really doesn't bother me. So I'm just gonna go in and spray off my leaves. And this, once again, this is not really harmful to us. It's just a natural pressed oil. It's not toxic to us or dogs or... So I don't feel bad using it in my home. I have 2 dogs, so I don't really like I said, to use a lot of pesticides. So once again, I'm gonna go in and wipe off the neem oil. This is kind of I bought a pack of cheap microfibers from Walmart, like I said, and I just use them and wash them and reuse them. I don't worry about them getting icky or gross because I didn't spend a lot of money on them, which is my favorite thing about them. So even as I'm going in here and wiping off these leaves, I'm even noticing a few more leaves that have like kind of red flags where they don't look like they're in the best of health. So basically what aphids do is they will go in and they suck out the sugar in your plants. So basically they're sucking out the happiness and the life of your plants, and then they literally leave behind, basically they poo out little sugar, and that is what turns into the sappy stuff that we find on our leaves that kind of gives away their presence. They're really tiny, they're not that easy to see, but they're very mobile and they can spread very fast. So that's what can make them so frustrating, is that they can just spread so fast to all your plants. Making your plants sad. So I'm gonna keep doing this treatment for a while. I'll probably quarantine these plants that I feel like may have them. And I'm gonna like monitor their progress. I'll try and do this treatment probably every other day since it's a natural treatment, especially the soap and the water. That's just such an easy thing to fill up the bottle and spray it on there. It's quick, it's easy. So that's all I'm gonna do with this guy. I'm gonna quarantine him. I'm probably gonna do this about every 2 days. Keep watching it, see if it gets healthier. If I feel like I'm still noticing the sappy stuff and the aphids are not going away as I'm using these natural remedies to treat the aphids, then I will consider going into a more violent approach and using an insecticide. I usually use ones from Bonide because sometimes if you can't get rid of the pests, I have at least over 50 houseplants and I just don't want them to spread to all of them. So I try my best to do natural, but luckily my plants don't live out in nature, so I'm not worried about the insecticide hurting things like ladybugs or other positive insects. So that is about all you can do. So I did have a few other plants that are by this guy. Like we have my beautiful Florida Beauty that was by him, so I'm gonna treat her as well. And I'm also gonna be treating my White Wizard because these were both by my Florida Ghost, unfortunately. And like I said, the aphids do travel really, really fast. So I'm gonna treat these as well, but I just really wanted to get on here and just say that we all get pests sometimes. It's okay, just take a deep breath, Google a few remedies, do what you can, but it happens to the best of us, and the plant community is so helpful, and we're all in this together. So good night, everyone.